Alright, so I guess, we'll stick with sci-fi a little bit now because, yes, we'll finally talk about the first season of Scavengers Reign, right?
Sure.
This is, sorry, a sci-fi drama, animated, I must say, sci-fi drama series that came out through HBO Max, right? I waited till the whole season wrapped up and, I just binged it over about a 2-3 day period, right? But before we begin, though, right? Because as we said earlier on in this episode here, yeah, this episode is about great things, man, and this for me is yet another great piece of animated television, man. I must say, right? But I really wanted to have like a nice little discussion of the show too, right? Because just off the premise and just the themes of it alone, I know that it more or less kind of relates to stuff that you know about as far as sci-fi goes, or at least how you could carry across certain how you could explore certain conceits and whatnot, right? That's why I really want to hear from you more about the execution of it and how you think it played out, right? But yeah,
Sure.
before we jump into that though, just asking quickly, right? Because I probably wouldn't mention it in my review of it though, but I just want to mention in terms of just continuing this sort of like this weird string of like really solid animated TV
Yeah.
shows, but
There's, people. Yeah,
um
people. A lot of great projects getting greenlit and they're getting it done.
yeah,
Yeah.
boy, yeah. So by chance, did you finish Blue Eye Samurai and Onimusha yet?
I didn't finish Onimusha, but finish Gulai Samurai. Yeah.
All right, and just quick thoughts, just asking out of curiosity. That's what you thought.
Yeah, good. Like I like it a lot. I mean, I'm not into it as much as you did because it's still feeling. Well, I won't say like amateur hour, but it still doesn't feel like it's not because it's not anime. It's still like not roping me in super much, but it's still good. Like it does the Avatar thing of Western anime vibe kind of thing. So, but I'm not super into it. It's good, just
Oh,
well executed.
okay. So
Yeah,
is
I
really
don't
is
feel
really
like you don't feel like it didn't change my life or nothing. Like
no, no.
it don't have that much
Well, no,
change my
I
life.
was expecting that to happen, right? But it's more of
Right,
a you're more into the substance and the style than that's really the issue.
right. But yeah, the story is good. Story is good stuff. But again, it didn't rope me in because see before, as they say, that kind of thing. Now, but look, whatever. It's solid business as it is. I can't take away from that in any which way. To be honest, yeah. So
All right, so if you don't mind, Ricardo, take it away. What was season one of Scavengers Reign about?
yeah, so there's a cargo ship that gets stranded in a alien planet called Vesta, right? The Demeter, right? Which is interesting because I wonder if it's the same Demeter from uh what do we call it by Love Death Robots. Remember that one of the shorts was that? Uh
Oh, was it
Remember the
though?
short?
I can't remember to be honest.
I just find it unusual. I was thinking in the back of my head, I wonder if it's the same Demeter. No? I mean, Demeter's a kind of common space sci-fi name anyway, so like whatever. Anyway, yeah, basically is about Ursula, as the Levi mostly and Sam. These people are stranded at the crew, yeah, and it's hijinks ensue with the alien planets where the planet will affect you in all kind of strange ways. You could get accustomed to some things, but it's also a kind of wilderness narrative, right? So there's cargoes being in the referencing this in the beginning they reference the missing ship, and then now they heavily damaged and they had to survive on this planet and then make sense of what the hell going on as it is. And yeah, it's very Studio Ghibli. That's how it felt to me at least. Um, it has a very trippy, very existential, but very psychedelic kind of approach to storytelling. And
Mm-hmm.
it does what it does better. It does the more the wilderness aspect of that. Like if what if you get trapped on Earth and you get hit with some peyote or something like that, that kind of thing. It have all kind of biological reasons for it, for things happening like that. Because yeah, that's how unfortunately how our brains work. You can't really escape that once it happened to you, and that's what it builds from. Is a lot of characterization is it's what it as I say, it's good. It's a lot of it's inner space, outer space. That's how I always think of this kind of stuff, right? And I didn't love this, but I liked it a lot. I really appreciated this because of how much effort and love seemed to have gone into this as it is. Yeah, it was kind of awesome. It's a shame that we take this long to get around to it because yeah, this is out to a hot minute now, for I understand. I think since last month. But yeah, it's it will make my best of the year end of the year list. That will I'll say. Yeah, I kind of really appreciated why it was the way it was and the effort that went into this. Really smart. And what it does really well is, again, it does characterization via psychedelia, like just the imagery stuff, people just chilling themselves, but also it have that what's the name of that podcast in cartoon form kind of feel to it. It kind of does a little
Oh,
bit of that too.
what it was by
Midnight Sun.
not the Midnight Gospel. Is it
Yeah,
that?
it's like
Yeah.
Midnight Gospel. Yeah, Midnight Gospel, where it telling a sci-fi story, but also have that, you know, mellow but existential, you know, laid back feel to it in a sense, but also kind of a lot of deep truths kind of vibe coming through, but in image form. It's not like the characters just talking. But they make it work, and I really like this. Ursula in particular, I really liked. There are some cool little side people who come through. Like I think it's Alia Shawkat was one of the people. Like I hear she voice. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, and
I
she
love
actually plays Levi, the robot. Like once I heard the voice, I was like,
right.
oh, it's Aliyah. Like, hey,
Yeah, yeah,
you in this too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. I was vibing, and I was enjoying the voices. Sunita Mani is a big star. I don't know what she was in before, but I swear I know her from somewhere.
She was
But she
can I look it up after the fact? She was in Mr. Robot.
yes, right. Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, her,
I
right,
see.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so on and so forth. I was like, all right, so I can't be mad at this. It's a really solid show. But not I can't go into a masterpiece there because again, it's another I see it before, but it also feels it's discount Ghibli. That's how it feels in terms of the production, right? Not masterpiece level, but still pretty good and well appreciated. They don't have the money for it, but it still look damn good. But yeah, I really enjoyed this out. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like you, this will be in my best stuff for the year as well, or best TV shows of this, man. Because yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoy this, man. I didn't love it like as much as see a Blue Eye Samurai, where I was
Right.
just blown away by just the effort put into the storytelling, right, and just the execution
Mm,
of it overall. But yeah, this one it was just more of like a cerebral experience, right, and that really caught me by
right.
surprise, right. So for one thing, I didn't really know what to expect at all from this. I just saw a trailer, got an idea of the
Right.
art
Yeah.
style and the trippiness of it, but I didn't really know what the
Yeah.
story was about, really, right? Um, One thing that I really do love about this show, though, is its structure, right? Where
Right.
basically it just focuses on, let's just say, three main characters, right? So you have Ursula and this guy Sam, this older guy. He was a commander of the Demeter, right? And
Yeah.
they're just all I will say at first, right? I was just there kind of wondering why these characters were split up in the first place. I thought that they were just like all in one place, but actually, and it is really when I sat down and think about it, I realized, oh, it's literally like a Earth-sized planet, right? So yeah, where the remnants of the Demeter ship, right,
Right.
landed. Yeah, it's in different spots on basically the world, right? Basically this Earth-like structure, right? So yeah, it's just basically about all of them kind of coming together. Well, taking a long time to do so, right? But you could understand given the distance where they are, right? But yeah, Ursula and Sam, they have their own adventure. It's just basically them just trying to get from point E to B to C to D until they and just chasing the signal because yeah, someone sought for help and they're just basically trying to get to the main section of the Demeter where the supplies and stuff will be there. Hopefully there'll be like a escape pod or whatever it is for them to
Okay.
leave,
Right.
right?
So I know my brain get confused when I was thinking last Voyager Demeter. It was the horror fantasy that came out earlier this year, not
Oh
from
well,
Love
I
Letter.
know that was what you were mentioning actually, but I think it's just
Right.
I think maybe it's just called that because of yeah, if you remember just the premise
From
of
the book.
yeah from the book, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
this
Right.
doomed ship, right? That's basically what it
Right.
is, right? You
Yeah.
have Azi, who is voiced by McGill Wonmi Mosaku. By the way, who has a great
Right.
voice though? Like seriously, she have a
Yeah.
great voice, right? Um, and she's there with Levy, sorry, the robot, who is played by Elia Shawkat. And yeah, Elia and all two have a really nice voice. Too. I'll give them that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're trying to survive this terrain as well, right? But then you also have this character of Kamen, right? That I would say has the most intriguing narrative in all of this, right? Yeah, where basically you learn that he kind of, I don't want to say he caused everything to happen, but he made a certain decision and that sort of led to the ship crashing in the
Right.
first place, right? But then what happens now is that he runs into this weird creature called a hollow, right? And I'll let you all know one time. this character of this Hollow will go down as one of the best villains I have seen in 2023. Period. At first, you don't really know what it is. It looks very, like I say, Ghibli, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, this show owes a lot to the works of Hayao Miyazaki, right? In particular,
Yeah.
like Princess Mononoke, like this show
Right.
borrows
Yeah.
so much from it. Not just in terms of the creatures that
Yeah.
can
That
range
sense of
from,
fun.
oh, it's
Yeah. The
weird
sense of
and
the
cute.
fantastical wilderness. It,
Yes,
it does
yes.
that.
Right. So like the creatures could be weird and cute, but it could also be kind of fearsome and like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
this thing could literally kill me, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're just watching this thing and it's small, right? But then eventually it just does this psychic link with Kamen, and he's reflecting on, his time in the ship and moments with his wife and decisions that they make and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually, just slight spoiler, he consumes him now, which I thought was really
Yeah.
fascinating. And then it just grows in size now, and then like when it gets bigger, it literally becomes like, best way I could sum it up is like this hybrid of like a sloth and a bear, right?
Right.
But it just gets more and more fearsome, Dre. Like the way how it moves, the way how it attacks. Cause yeah, like it's not like so much it defend itself, It will legit go and attack people, Dre. And that like it genuinely had moments where I jumped, boy, especially like in the final episode. Where it actually ends up in the last section of the meeting. It was roaming about. Yeah, it had some moments in that had me like on edge, but that was so that was just such a terrifying creature, right? But yeah,
Right.
that particular arc, right, especially with Kamen, is the most existential, is the most psychedelic there, right? Because what they kind of trying to show there, at least in the interpretation of what the show gives us, is that the creature get bad because of Kamen's thoughts. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
It's really
It
one of those
does
kind of
it.
things you
It,
kind of had to sit down and analyze and like,
does it
oh,
thematically. Does
okay,
it
this is
thematically?
why,
Yeah.
but it's kind of weird
Yeah.
though.
No, thematically, it does. It does. Well, good sci-fi, the literally square the fantastical with the reality of the world. So it's like whatever happened in the world is referenced in an actual mechanism. They'll explain it. And this was I thought, a very clever and simple mechanism to talk about, working at the guy. As I say, inner space, outer space. It does that really well. And this, yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of animation, right? I mean, no, it does not have the biggest budget, right? And that's fine. I actually like the economical style that they use here, where it looks kind of anime-ish, but it's not exactly anime. It really more it really more sells you on the creatures and the settings themselves, right? And I must say, just in terms of set design, though, fantastic across the board. The creature design, great, you know what I mean, and very Hayao Miyazaki inspired, right? But yeah, just last little spoiler there with regards to Kamen's arc, right? Yeah, there's a moment where it ends though where you're literally like seeing, how best to describe it, but it's almost like the climax of 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
just about
Straight.
space, but it's about time, it's about Earth, it's about like existence in general. And how they convey that though was just so mind blowing to me, but I'm just amazed that something like this was greenlit. Like, yes, we're gonna show you
Yeah.
this shit, and you gonna take from it whatever you want to, but yeah, this is what we're trying to see here. And again, just wrapping up with Kamen's arc though. Again, it's just really one of those things you just have to sit down and be like, oh, okay, well, okay, so now what does mean and what happened here and that happened here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't stop to tell you, oh, this is what's happening in the Kamen. It's just all, well, mostly visual stuff, very weird, very trippy, but it kind of makes logic, right? It makes sense here. And that's another thing I really love about the show here, that within the weirdness and the existentialism and stuff like that, um, it's logical now, the way how the story plays out, right? In
Right.
particular with the creatures themselves, right? I really love the creature design here. I could tell like the creators really like study, a lot of like yeah, just like probably watch a lot of BBC Earth, whoever it is, right? Because I like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just the mechanisms, or just the way how the creatures themselves move, and to the point that they feel real, they feel almost lifelike now. Yeah, I mean, yes, they are fictional creatures, right? And they're really weird and trippy and all that, right? But like, for example, the way how they eat, the way how they hunt and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it feels logical. Like this is how a character would react, right? And you really see it too with Ursula and Sam and how they navigate, right? Because yeah, they will get themselves in a spot, and a creature, for example, will attack Sam. Like Sam get attack the most, boy. It kind of funny at times, but oftentimes like, boy, how much of this you really taking? Like literally every 2 episodes, this man get like stick
I
with
I don't
something.
want to say the show is uninspired necessarily. But it's because I see so much of it before I can't get into it because
Right, right.
it's yeah I don't know I like it,
Well,
but same thing with Blue Eye Samurai. Good, like and but it's one of those you give the A student the A now, but
right,
it ain't
right.
doing anything truly mind blowing. It just good.
All right.
But I could
All right.
you're not feeling truly inspired because see all of this in some place before.
yeah.
Just look, that's all I could ask for, to be honest, right? To be fair, like look, it is one of those things. I'm not pulling from it. I can imagine a lot of people enjoying this, not trying to take away from it in that way. But that's the only thing that's holding it back for me. Is just I see I see this in some form everywhere. With again, maybe I was watching too much sci-fi. That's the problem, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
it's that. I have that problem with it. Is a lot of I've seen it before, but yeah, look, this is good stuff. I'm not taking it away from you. You know, this is better than probably anything I would be able to make in any workable center time anyway. So it's that.
All right.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
totally understand that's a
yeah. I
really
don't hate it though. It's
solid
not like I hate it,
criticism.
but I couldn't get into it.
All right, I understand. That's a
Yeah,
solid criticism there. What I will
right,
say is that the stuff that you do see, even if it may feel derivative to like real hardcore sci-fi fans,
right,
feels logical, right? So, like case in
right,
point, what happens to Levy? I didn't see
right,
that
right,
coming at all, right? I actually like that idea. What happens with Levy? Basically, it's her as artificial intelligence and like achieving conscious. Like she
right.
actually is aware of feelings like touch and all that kind of stuff and fear and stuff like that. Where it led up to though really catch her by surprise though. And yeah, it's one of those things you really have to suspend your disbelief with, boy, because it's really, really weird. But
Right.
again, there's a logic to it. It kind of makes sense. I like that it kind of opens up the possibility of what we'll get in the second season. If I just have like a minor gripe though, I felt like just I mean, even though well, I should say the final moments leading up to the let's just say the last sequence before the credits, right? I really dug. I like the idea that of where the characters end up and what they're gonna do going forward. That's all I'll say without spoiling anything, right? The stinger at the end, however, I felt was really really like ambiguous though. Like
Yeah, it's
yes,
fine.
I understand. It's setting up.
It
It's
feel like
something
one of those.
like it's setting up
If I'm
something
not,
big. So one
yeah,
sec. Like it's setting up something new, right? But it's like, all right, but okay, but they can now showing us this though. So like we now trying to figure out, okay, what really going on here? And they just say, nope,
what it
wait
felt
till
like.
next season. Shut up.
No,
Yeah.
it felt like one of those. Like it felt like I did like, oh, we're not getting a second season. Like oh, like it just in case stuff. So it's
Oh,
like
okay,
let's
okay.
leave it open, kind of
Or,
thing.
or, or
Like I
almost like, please give us a second season.
right, right,
That
right.
way I feel like
It's that.
it feel like a please,
Yeah,
like please, like look at this, like you're not excited
yeah,
by this? No, well,
right.
sorry,
Yeah,
but yeah, I thought that the voice acting was solid throughout though, and the characterization was solid as well, right? Especially with the main characters of Ursula, Azzy, and Sam, right? And to the extent Carmen, right? Even though I felt, just going back to the ambiguous stuff, this is another nitpick. Yeah, again, I just felt like just his character arc was just a little too um, you know, ambiguously, subject to
right.
interpretation, right? Especially stuff involving his wife. Like I don't know, just trying to remember what it is happened because I literally saw the show last week, right? Because they real try to frame it like Carmen was the one who was responsible for all this, right? But I
Right.
don't really think so. I think that he makes some kind of decision, but the decision was the wrong one. That's it. I think just in general is just how it was conveyed. It wasn't really like properly or entirely fleshed out, right? Or at least the backstory. That's what I'm saying, right? And he's the only character who has any like big set of backstory, with the exception of Sam and Azzy to extent, right? Ursula, a bit, there's a bit of stuff, right? But yeah, I felt with Carmen, we could have gotten a more fleshed out backstory, right? But it is what it is, right? Um, and last, just one. This one aspect of the show that really made it special to me was the structure of it, how it was put across, right? So as we said, it's 3 stories going on, right? So I love how it's broken up like it feels like chapter breaks, right? So like the
Yeah,
show, like every like a scene will start or a sequence will start with the character, and then when that sequence is done, it just cuts to black, and then you'll just jump to another person. And you'll think like, no, like you'll think like, oh, it's supposed to be like commercial breaks or something like that. But like, no, you'll see it happen like about like 10 times at least in an episode, right? But
Right.
I treat it as, these are like, I say almost say character. These are chapter breaks. So what we're seeing in each and every episode is a chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all like punctuated by these, brief gaps of black, right? And then the next part resumes. I thought that was really like really clever though. Kind of artsy,
Yeah.
but I like that. I like that kind of creative, that kind of creative decision, something like that. I really dug that, right? But yeah, as a whole, I really enjoyed this though. It was a lot stranger and fascinating and extraordinary, bizarre and terrifying than I thought, right? Just from the character design to the set design to the characters themselves, where you could tell that they put, well, they should say the creators put a lot of care and effort into the show, right? But I do agree. Well, I do agree and understand where you're coming from, Ricardo. It's stuff that you've seen before, right? If you've seen one space survival movie, you kind of know what to expect.
Well,
You
as
know,
I said, I don't come down on these things as much as I used to because, like, it's a whole new generation. Like, enough time passed between me seeing one with the other. That's all I'll say. It's not to say it's a big deal now, but but I myself not wowed. That's all I'll say. Again,
okay,
my old manness being old man. I think that is the big problem here. I'm too old. I see all this bullshit before. That's the problem.
all right, all right. I thought,
Yeah.
I like, I don't know, like, when I really, for me, me now wanted to talk about the show with you. I just thought it was about how they take these certain tropes and carry them,
Right.
right? How they develop them or how they evolve them, right? So you say that they didn't really do much of an effort there. Okay, maybe
No, it's
they,
not as much of an effort. It's just it not inspired or do anything different. Like
okay,
too
okay,
different. It's not like it is its own thing. The person do their own thing. I forget who the creator is, but it's just it not wowing me. It feel like something that one of these projects that feel like it take a hot minute to get done. Like 15 years ago, they'd probably supposed to come out or something like that, but they take a while and then it finally come out. And this is what we get in. They finally make it. It take a while, but the concept of it done past now. At least in terms of my time of why I'd be interested to. Because I really feel like something that 5 years ago would have been, sorry, not five, but even like something like 10, 15 years ago would have been like, yeah, if that had come out like 10, 15 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, but this was real hard.
yeah.
But then now it's like, all right, everybody and their mother kind of pour their own version of this. So, it's good.
All right.
Quite good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand, I understand. But yeah.
Yeah.
But for me though, I was thoroughly impressed by this. Whether it's the music, the voice acting, and again, especially just them creature designs. So just some really unforgettable stuff. Again, the Hollow will go down as one of the year's best villains. Though it is just such a
Yeah.
fearsome creature, and just a strange looking creature.
It
Like
reminds me
really
of,
face dread,
oh gosh, it reminds me of that thing from Magica a little bit. Gosh, the bunny cat now. From
Oh,
Madagascar. What's the name of that creature, boy?
uh,
Pomora, I think.
I
What's the
think,
name of
yeah,
that creature?
I think so. I haven't seen
No,
that.
that's not. It's up in my QB. A little bit,
Oh,
like
right there. Yeah.
a little bit. It had that same innocent, and then you fuck around and find out.
Yeah, boy.
You know,
Jeez, yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's that, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna give this a strong 4 to 5, man. Absolutely
Right.
enjoy this.
Yeah, okay.
This is gonna be in my best of for sure. Well, I mean, it's a top 10 TV show list I have anyway, and yes, the show is there, right? If you enjoy, mature animated TV shows, and if you just enjoy stuff that a little trippy, or I should say a lot trippy, and play with your mind and challenge it, and make you experience new things or whatnot. Under the guise of a basic familiar style and premise. Yeah, you'll really enjoy this one. So yeah, definitely check out Scavengers Reign. Yeah, Ricardo, your
Yeah.
final thoughts are rated.
Yeah, no, 8 out of 10, actually closer to a 9. It's good stuff. Like I really appreciate it. This existing. I appreciate when new artists come up with something and give us some decent ideas and concepts. It's good ideas we see before. Again, no, I'm not trying to pull anything about it. It's very the Hollow is very hypnotoad. If you get a reference. Yeah, but it's not bad. Like I don't have any any no notes, as they say. It's not nothing that bad or anything like that, but I see a lot of it before, to be honest. And it does the conceit of Miyazaki and these ideas really, really well and put that together. But because it's not, for at least for me, feels particularly inspired. I'm not writing home about it, but it's good. And I'll say we'll give very, very high rating because of how well executed everything. And to me, execution is almost always better than ideas, right? And this one is really good execution across the board, right? So I can't be mad at any of this, and it will be making my top of the list. Not my top 10, but it'll be honorable mention at least most likely. Yeah, I really dug the hell out of this. Yeah. So yeah, 8 out of 10, between 8 and 9, closer to a 9 actually. Really well done.
All right. One more question before we move on. I'm wondering if the familiarity of the tropes, right, in this show. I wonder if it's just meant to make the show more appealing, or at least more like easily digestible.
It had to tell. It had to tell one way or the other. I don't know. Like it's impossible to read the creator's mind or what they're going through. You could kind of speculate, but no. I mean, I don't know what it is. Again, in that sense, I am the problem here, and I fully admitting that in terms of, I do. I just I'm not talking about it or wild by it because I see so much of it. That's how I always felt about that kind of stuff. But I said, yeah.
Right, totally understood.